I never tire of that.
I don't either. And I can't even remember what our old one is anymore.
I don't either. Hello, Ugg. It's been a minute. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, mister. Wasn't that funny?
Yes. That's so funny that you got it immediately. You're like, oh, come on, yes.
I mean, I didn't know you were doing it on purpose. It's just immediately what I thought when no one knows what we're talking about. But this was
fine. It was a childhood thing.
It was a text this morning.
We were kids and, like women and parents who have multiple children within a certain age range, you throw them all in the tub at the same time.
It's just easier.
It's just easier to scrub them all down at once.
Right.
And our mom made us take baths together, obviously.
We were little, yeah.
Yes, of course. Not when we were
3, 5.
No, we were little.
Yeah,
but
we were little.
We would get bubble baths if we, on special occasions. So we would create little bubble bath pies. And we started doing it to Allison, honestly. We did.
Of course.
Because Allison would turn her back on us like a fool.
She hated us.
And she would turn her back and face and, do whatever she was doing by herself. And we would be like, oh, we're like, oh, look at her. And we'd like, create our little thing. We're like, oh, mister. And you would like tap her. And she's like, the one that did it. She's like, yes. We're like, pow.
Pie
like,
to the face.
Yeah.
So imagine like a cream pie to the face. That's basically what we would do with bubbles.
And then it
became a joke. And we did it on purpose.
We all did it.
Yeah. And it was funny. So
poor Allison. She was the butt of so many jokes.
I have empathy for her. And we all wonder why she lives on an island alone. She's let me know if anybody dies or, anything tragic happens. Otherwise, fuck y'all.
Other than that, bye.
Bye, bitches.
I mean, I do love her, though.
Living my best life. Oh, she's, yeah.
But yeah.
Allison would literally, chop a limb off for you.
And you know what? She's so fucking strong, Stephanie.
Jamie. That woman can rule the world.
Kenzie texted me the other day because they're moving. They're moving to a condo. It's a really cute place. I saw it.
I'm so excited.
Anyway, so she goes, Mom, she's like, I have a huge favor I need to ask of you. I go, does this require murder? Do I have to dig a body? I go, because I have weak arms, Stephanie.
Right. I've never had good upper body strength.
Like, I can dig for a little bit, but I mean, in this heat, the ground is so dry. I just don't know if I could do it. And she's like, no.
It'd be a lot easier for me to go to prison than one of my kids because I'm so much older. I can serve my life out, but you cannot. You're only 30. So
one time I was talking to somebody that I had just met, a woman. We were just chit-chatting about life, and I said something about there's something that I would be willing to do if it meant my sister could be healed, because there's a trauma that our sister has that if I could fix it, I would immediately. And I said, I would put this man's head on a platter and present it to her, and I know it would heal her. I know it would. And she's looking at me like, what?
I know, like, you just said the weirdest thing ever.
I'm like, what?
Am I going to read about you on Court TV?
Yeah, and I said, but the problem, not a problem, is that I don't want to give up my freedom for some horrible person.
Not for that person.
No. I go, I don't want to give up my freedom. I love being free too much. Anyway, on that note, our anniversary was last week.
Yes, and that was a big one.
Daryl and I...
Well, they're all big now at this point.
After 20 years...
I feel like every year is
a celebration.
Just
we made it!
27 years!
Holy crap, we made it!
Significant.
We decided to go to San Francisco because we had never done San Francisco for more than like a day. We've never done... We spent the night. Fun. We have spent the night there, and seen shows, but we haven't really done.
Did you do the whole weekend this time?
We did. We went up on a Friday and came home on Monday.
It's fun. Did you enjoy it or no?
Loved.
Okay.
It was amazing.
You almost want to live there. I could.
There are parts of the city that I absolutely
the rich parts.
Well, yeah.
The Nancy Pelosi neighborhood.
We did not go to we did not go to that area, but
it's impressive.
We stayed at the Ritz.
Yeah,
which is
gorgeous.
Our favorite. That hotel in the city specifically is amazing.
It's
and the
so
service,
amazing.
Their service is so freaking good. Yeah. So we loved it. We didn't stay there the whole time. We actually stayed at another hotel in the second half. But so we stayed. We went to Tyler Florence's Steakhouse, Miller and Lux,
and
I thought it was very good. And Daryl he liked it way better than I did.
Was it because he's a steak and potatoes guy?
No, we're both big steak people. So it was the night of the Olivia Rodrigo concert.
Oh, in town?
Yes. Now Miller and Lux is attached to that arena.
So everybody who's going to the show
all
probably
the parents,
has dinner first.
All little
waiting
girls.
For their
Olivia Rodrigo. And so all these little girls, 15-year-olds, are, walking in, and all the parents are at Miller and Lux.
Let's go to this dinner, yeah.
Yeah, because we have to wait, so we might as well wait attached to things. So we walk in, our reservation's at 8:00. We walk in and everyone's walking around and there's nobody to check us in. And I'm like, I'm already hating it. I'm like, what? I thought this was a nice place. I thought it was nice.
Right.
You know, and there are people in like basketball shorts and stuff. I'm like,
oh God.
I think we greatly overestimated the fancy.
Were you guys like
this.
super dressed up?
Yeah. It was our anniversary dinner. We're like, we thought it was a steak, like a really nice steakhouse.
Right.
First of all, there's no such thing as being overdressed, really.
No, agreed.
So it's fine. And
absolutely.
So
you can absolutely be underdressed though.
Yes. And so we walk in and I'm like, okay, so we're waiting. Somebody finally comes over and it's like, oh, are you checking? We're like, yeah. So they check us in and there's like six other couples and parties waiting to be checked in. It's not like we were the only ones there. And they're like, well, we're setting up the tables now. So if you'd like to have a cocktail at the bar, because there's this beautiful bar right when you walk in. And I'm like, I don't. Because
like, I want my fucking table.
I just want to know what's going on because it feels weird right now. The vibe was really weird. And so finally they're like, hey, your table's ready.
Did it feel chain restaurant-y?
No, I just something felt off. And so we go upstairs. There's like two people sitting at tables. Like there's like the dining room's empty. So they weren't seating anybody.
What the fuck?
So we go up, we sit down. It's a great table. They gave us a menu and then asked us what kind of water we wanted. And then we sat there for like 15 or 20 minutes. Nobody came. Everybody was seated. Nobody was getting service.
What the fuck?
And I looked and I said, okay, I don't know what's going on, but there's no cooking going on in the kitchen. Like there's literally no food being prepped. All the servers were standing over by the computer.
What is happening?
I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but this is so weird. Finally, the people next to us go, yo, our daughter's at the Olivia Rodrigo concert and it's like half over. We need food so we can get the hell out of here.
Right, because we can't have her waiting out front.
And they're being really nice about it, but they look and they're like, have you guys eaten yet? We're like, we still have our menu. Like, we don't even...
Did you get your water?
No.
Oh my God.
And so I'm like, something's not right. I don't know what's going on. Was there a death in the restaurant? And they're trying to fix it. Like, what is happening? It was so weird. And then all of a sudden, it's like the restaurant came to life. We got bread, we got water, we got cocktails.
Hell was happening?
They took our order. Everything came out and everything was delicious. Everything was great. But I'm like, I am so pressed about the fact that I sat here for 45 minutes.
Oh, I would have been too.
And I'm like, and Daryl's like, just relax, enjoy it. I'm like, no, this is like a very expensive dinner.
And not only that, but what's to enjoy? I don't have a crumb or a drop of anything in front of me.
It's almost 9 o'clock.
Am I just supposed to be looking around at the walls and be like, yeah, it's really pretty in here. This is great.
Yeah, and I mean,
this is fun.
And like, no complimentary, like, we're so sorry, no apologies, nothing. And everybody is sitting.
Manager walking around, we're so sorry.
Nothing.
Oh my God.
So finally, we get everything. It's lovely, great, but it's like we didn't leave until like 11:30.
Oh, that would have pissed me off.
So we're sitting, and I don't mind late dining, to be fair.
No, I don't either.
I love
if I'm doing a prefix menu and it's like 8 courses,
it was fine. But like, our server comes and he's like, well, what can I get you? And we're like, well, we're gonna start with this and that and all that. And he's like, okay, great. And we're like, so, and then we'll think about it. And he's like, oh, well, the kitchen needs your entire order. And I'm like, okay. So now we're like going, okay, well, we want, and everything is a la carte because it's a steakhouse.
Right.
So we ordered everything. We got the
ribeye
tomahawk.
Oh, yeah.
For 2. It was exceptional. Cooked perfectly. Obviously, it was perfectly.
Thank God.
Yeah, it was great.
Because they couldn't afford a flaw at this point.
No, they cannot. And so, it was amazing. Good. And I didn't think the potatoes were all that. But anyway.
What kind were they?
Just whipped, garlicky, chivy.
But at this point, you're going to be like.
There was nothing they could do right.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't being a bitch, by the way.
No, I know. I
was enjoying it. And, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of pluses. So we're sitting there quietly enjoying, the end of our meal. And we had brought a bottle of wine, so we drank a bunch of wine. And then out of nowhere, Tyler Florence shows up and he says hello to the dining room. And he's like, hi, he's like, hey, are you having a good evening? Da, da, da. And then he took off and he was gone.
I was going to say, did you give him an opportunity
No, but he's very handsome.
Well, yeah.
I mean, in person, he's like a legitimately good-looking dude.
Oh, I think he is.
And he's not as tall as I thought. He's probably like 5'10".
Oh.
For some reason, I thought he was like tall, like Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay's very tall.
Yeah.
And he's not as tall, but he's a good-looking guy. And I'm like, God damn,
right?
He's hot. Anyway, and then he just was gone. So the next day, we're just chilling in our room, having room service or whatever. And I look, freaking Mark Zuckerberg was at the Olivia Rodrigo show with his family. Tyler Florence was there with his family.
Oh.
And some other high-end billionaire. And I'm like, I know exactly what the fuck happened. They had a private party and the whole kitchen was shut down while they were doing their food. before the show. And then when they were done, when the show started,
then the restaurant got served.
The restaurant reopened and we all got served.
See, that would infuriate
That is
me.
Exactly what happened. I know it.
Oh, you're right.
Zuckerberg's like, oh, we're at and I was like, you asshole.
You ruined dinner for all of these people.
Like 100 people.
Oh, that is not cool.
I mean, are they ever going to admit it? No. But you know, they basically shut the restaurant down.
Of course.
So they could eat, and it ran a little late.
Yeah.
And you know, Tyler made their food.
Of course.
You know, he made all the food for everybody. So I'm like,
well, maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was eating with them.
He was in Chef's Whites.
Oh, he was?
Yep.
Okay.
And I was like, motherfucker, you know what? This is exactly why people go, you're so unrelatable. You literally had no problem inconveniencing all these parents.
But I have to say that Tyler could have handled it differently as well. It's his restaurant.
I agree.
And he would have been like, look, everyone's getting served equally as well tonight as they would any other night, even though we have these people.
If he shut the restaurant down, if he paid to have the restaurant shut down so they could have their own private
then they should have been taking reservations until, 9.
I agree completely. I agree.
Mean, why have people come at 8?
I just think that I think the thing ran later than they expected, and that's why everybody was sitting around. It was so goddamn infuriating. I'm like, you know what? Pissed. I realize that in the big picture, I'm a peon, but my money is equally as green. Honestly,
Jamie, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I've said that so many times.
So what I really resented is that Daryl was having a blast and I was pressed.
Yeah, and you were like trying not to be, and I'm like ruin the evening.
This is our anniversary dinner, da da da. And I'm like, F you, dude.
This happens. I feel like when you go to these really expensive, restaurants, that something like that can happen, but it wouldn't happen any other place because only uber rich or celebrity people go to places like this.
Well, it's because of the show, the concert.
No, I agree, but it reminds me of the other time that I can't remember where you were. Was it the kitchen when that rich drunk guy was being a dick?
Oh,
right. Yeah, that wouldn't happen at fucking some plain Jane place.
Yes,
because a guy like that wouldn't be there.
I just said, you know what? We really should have thought about the fact that it's attached to the arena and that there was a show. Because it was clear that's what was going
learned.
On. Right.
And since you did have such a great time, maybe you could always do it again for no reason at all.
Absolutely. So then the next day we walked to, now it used to be the Sir Francis Drake, and now it's called the Beacon Grand Hotel. Oh. And they've completely...
Jerry will be so disappointed.
They completely renovated. It is a stunning hotel.
It was really a nice hotel before, but it was just old.
It is not. It is so beautiful. They've completely renovated the Starlight Lounge.
Awesome.
We partied up there. We stayed on the 20th floor.
Oh, so you stayed there?
We only stayed at the Ritz for a couple nights and then we stayed. Yeah. But we walked there and they have a high tea. And we're like, we love high tea because you get champagne or whatever.
It's great.
It was so fun. And our server was unbelievable. And you're supposed to only get a glass of champagne. And she kept coming by. She goes, oh, you know what? I'm just going to finish the bottle. Here. She did like 4 times.
Oh my God. You guys were probably schnockered.
I was. But it was great.
Why, was Daryl not drinking?
Oh, no, he was. But he has more tolerance than me.
Right. They say that about women. Like, we get drunker faster.
Yeah, I believe it.
It's our metabolism.
Yeah. Well, great.
I know, but it's true because I have often wondered that too. But
yeah,
I mean, anyway,
so we had so much fun, and so then our friends Greg and Glenn met us.
Oh, lovely!
And we went to this place called Martuni's. Have you ever heard of Martuni's?
No. What kind of place is it?
It is a piano bar.
Oh, it's a bar, not a restaurant.
No. It's a piano bar. It's a martini bar. So they have a full bar.
Oh God!
They have a full bar. Oh, we were all in big trouble
because they're so good.
They're like, just get a Cosmo if you don't know what you want, because they have this huge menu of martinis. And I'm like, okay. So I said, yeah, I'll just have a Cosmo. Well, they have like 5 different kind of Cosmos.
Oh shit!
I'm like, well, just give me whatever. Just give me whatever you're getting, and I'll just drink it. Yeah, because I don't like lemon drops, but they're like, no, we'll just have Cosmos.
Why, were they gonna get lemon drops?
They go either way.
Oh, they usually do.
And so I'm like, now I'll just do a Cosmos. So they bring these giant martini glasses.
God.
And they're like, here you go. Now it is crowded, ass to cock everywhere. There is no room. But everybody.
Do you have a table?
No, it's standing room only. There's some tables, but very few.
But you're basically standing.
So you're standing. We ultimately ended up getting chairs because somebody left and we were able to grab the chairs. But
yay.
It is a giant baby grand, and this incredible piano player sits at the thing with his computer with every sheet music for every song you've ever heard of.
Oh, cool.
And it's karaoke.
Oh, God.
So you can walk up and sing. So because of where it's located, a lot of people from the theater come and will sing.
Oh, God.
And we even had an opera singer show up.
So they're like professional people.
Not everybody. But they will come and
this is probably like
there.
this is the place you go if you can sing.
It's very local.
Yeah.
So we walk in and he's like, oh, we're sorry. We usually get here in time to sit at the piano because the piano is actually a bar and you can sit at the piano.
Oh, okay, cool.
But we missed the window, which was fine. He goes, it's so crowded. They couldn't believe it. So I take a sip.
Why was it their idea to go to this place?
Yeah, they're like, oh, you'll love it. So I take a sip of my Cosmo and I'm like, I turn to Daryl and I go, these taste like melted Jolly Ranchers. We are in so much trouble.
They're so good. You can like glunk them.
They're so good. And it was so hot in there. The people... There were not all good singers, but one woman walks up.
I wouldn't dare even.
One woman walks up and she's like, okay, I'm going to sing this. And she starts singing The Little Mermaid.
Look at this stuff.
Stephanie.
Isn't it neat?
She was so good.
Oh, shut up.
She was so good that the piano player goes, hold on. Your tone is so perfect. I want you to sing this song. So she sang Alicia Keys. Some people.
Oh God, I love that song.
So do I. She sang it like she'd written herself.
God,
she was so good.
That would be so hard to sing that song.
And then when there's a lull, he'll pick a song and we'll all sing along. So he started playing Taylor Swift.
Which one?
Romeo Save
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay, everybody starts singing.
A thing like that, yeah.
And I'm like, I love this place.
We
were there for 3 hours and we had such a good time. It was amazing. It was awesome.
So did you drink Cosmos the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah, that was smart.
So then we're like, it was
What did your husband drink, by the way?
Cosmos.
Oh, he did?
Oh yeah, we all did. It was just easier. It was so crowded. It's like, just keep it simple.
Yeah.
So then...
Because you can't really fuck those up, and if you just keep ordering them, then...
So then we decide, hey, let's go back to the Beacon and we'll go to the Starlight. And we're like, okay, because it was like midnight or whatever, maybe a little later. So we go to the Starlight. We're hammered. So we go to the Starlight.
It seems to be a theme every time Glenn and Greg are around.
And the bar is so beautiful. It's real lush. Unfortunately, it was foggy, so there wasn't a great view, but still it was amazing. We sat and we ordered some kind of a semblance of a Cosmo, but it had like champagne in it. I didn't even finish half of it. I'm like, I can't.
I'm so drunk. Yeah.
I can't drink anymore. I don't feel good. I'm like, I can't.
I get like that too, where you're just like basically pickled.
And then there was like this group of people celebrating somebody's birthday, and they were probably in their late 60s, early 70s. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this woman who was in a very smart dress, maybe she's an attorney or something, she gets up and she's completely fluid. Like, she looks like liquid. And she puts her arms over her head and she's like, woo! And I'm like,
oh my God.
This is the show I wanted.
Perfect.
This is what I wanted. And
God.
He was the birthday guy and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I am in heaven. I'm in heaven.
I'm just so glad it's not you.
Oh, never.
Jamie.
Never. So then we're like, okay, we got to go.
Don't act like we've never done embarrassing things.
Oh, no, I know. So we had brunch plans the next day. I'm like, okay, well, we're leaving and we'll meet you in the morning or whatever. So
did they stay at the hotel?
They stayed at the Beacon Grand, yeah. Okay. And so we go back to the hotel.
Just don't kill me.
It's like 1:30 in the morning and we have to be up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed at 10:30.
Right.
So we get back to the hotel and I'm like, I don't feel good. He's like, you're going to be fine. Just go to sleep. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So I'm laying there. I'm like, nope. So he crashed and I ran to the bathroom and I'm like, I'm not going to make it. And so I immediately just vomited so much alcohol. I felt like I was literally throwing up poison. Because it's vodka.
Oh God, I've done it.
Ugh. And I'm like, I am too old to be throwing up alcohol.
Jamie, please, we've all done it.
So I threw up and it was violent. And I felt like shit. And so then finally I'm like, I need to lay down. So I lay down on the cold
But it's so much
tile.
better to get it out of your body.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what my mind tells me. I'm like, it's out. It's out of you.
That's what I thought too. So I'm laying, and yes. And so I'm laying there.
But you need water.
I fell asleep for some time and then I got up because I was freezing.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
Yes.
So I got up. I'm like, and I'm
at
like,
least you're like, okay, it's over. The worst is over.
And I actually felt a lot better.
Yeah.
And so
water is your friend.
Yeah. So I fell asleep and I woke up. I'm like, okay, I'm not hungover. I'm just really tired.
I'm telling you.
But I realized halfway through the morning when we were getting ready, I go,
you're still drunk.
I think I'm drunk.
Yep. That's why you didn't feel like shit.
Yeah, exactly. And so he's like, really? I go, yeah. So we pack everything and we head over to the Beacon. We're going to a drag brunch. And so I've never been to a drag brunch.
Neither have I.
Never.
But I would totally do it.
Stephanie, it is so amazing.
It was like the best.
I was so nervous because
Why?
I've never been. I don't know the etiquette. I don't know
so
anything.
welcoming. That's the thing about crowds like that is no one judges a fucking thing.
Well, Yes, and I will tell you about some of the people that were there. Anyway, so I felt okay, but I didn't look great.
You just look peaked
because
probably,
I had
and
every
puffy.
single blood vessel under my eyes was broken. So thank God for concealer.
Yeah.
And I had broken a blood vessel in my eyeball.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what, did I keep my eyes open when I threw up?
I will say this, although I'm always not glad, but throwing up at hotels is not the worst thing because they are so clean, especially
Stephanie,
the Ritz.
I tell you, I was so thankful.
Because if I'm at my own house and I'm throwing up like that, I'm like, oh God.
That alone makes me want to throw up.
Same.
I
So
can't
thank
think about-
God for hotels that are expensive like that because they are pristine.
Yeah, and they come in, they clean everything twice a day. So
right,
they literally,
and it's so if you're laying your face on where asses go.
Nope,
this thing is sanitized. So thank God.
We get in an Uber and we go to the Fugazi Center. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So it's in North Beach.
Okay.
Where it's the Little Italy in San Francisco. Stunning little part of town.
Yes.
We had decent weather
there.
Yeah, we had decent weather and we get out and I'm like, I'm feeling fine, but I'm feeling a little, like you said, peaked.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm so bewildered by this whole new experience of everything. So we go in and it's like, welcome to drag brunch, Sunday brunch, whatever. Sunday and drag is what it was called. And so we go in, everything's red. And so we sit down and we get the thing. And so Greg and Glenn, who did not nearly have the problems that we had the night before, they're like,
hey,
hey,
they never get hungover.
Like, you guys want bottomless mimosas? And I'm like, immediately no. I'm not having any alcohol right now. And they're like, really? And I'm like, I can't do it, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm having water. So I had sparkling water, I had coffee, and I had a little baby quiche that they were selling for brunch. And Daryl also was like, I'm sorry that I cannot.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't want anything. And the freaking mimosas were like $55 for bottomless
per person.
Yeah, and
that's
I'm like,
too much.
That's what I said, and I'm like,
what were they serving though?
It wasn't anything fancy.
No, I'm not doing it.
And I said, everything's
I'm not having 30 of them.
I'm like, everything's $5, and then the bottomless mimosas are $55.
That's because
they very strange.
Well, maybe it's one of those crowds where people come in and they literally drink bottles and bottles
and
of
it's fine.
Champagne.
So
I would not.
Greg and Glenn are like, okay, well, we'll do it because first of all the money's for a good cause. It's not like it's not like there's a company. It's literally this non-for-profit art center.
Well, I mean,
so I get it. And like,
well, maybe that's why it was expensive. Maybe
right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow. I mean, that's a lot. And so they're like, we're getting our money's worth. And they just start. And then they give you these little, like, barely bigger than a shot glass glasses. They're like little water glasses for the mimosas. And so finally they're like, oh, hell no, we're putting y'all out of business. And they just start drinking. And they're like, we have to go to the store and buy more juice because we're out of juice. And they're like, you don't have to put juice in it.
We'll just take straight champagne.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll take whatever you got. And they're like, I'm okay. And I'm like, well, you definitely got your money's worth. There's no doubt about it.
Well, that's a lot of money.
It was very expensive. They were like, what the hell? And so anyway, drag queens come out.
Why not just say it's a donation and we really only expect you to drink like 3?
Yeah, that's fine. So the MC comes out. And she is an icon in the LGBTQ community as far as advocate for drag queens
and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's met all the presidents. Like, she's older and funny as hell. And so there was this song. Now, I am a hard-hearted person when it comes to theater. And like the first time I ever cried seeing any kind of performance, like on Broadway or a play or whatever, was when I saw Hamilton in New York.
Yeah.
And I was ugly crying. I turned around, I'm like, is this normal? Do you people cry when they see Broadway?
Yes.
Like, it's weird. I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, they do.
So anyway, but I'm not affected by anything. And so she comes out and midway through, she decides to sing a song, and it's kind of the advocacy part of the show. And so she's like singing the song called about being kind and just kind of letting everybody just live their goddamn life. Just let them live their life. Right. No one's grooming anyone. They're just doing the advocacy part. And so I'm watching it, and I was really struggling to really understand how serious it was because her nose was running.
Oh, God.
And I couldn't stop focusing on the mucus.
And just don't look. I couldn't even look.
And I was like, oh, my God. And I'm like, and I understand why you wouldn't wipe because it was thick. Like, she was clearly ill. And so I was telling Greg,
how are you not prepared when you know you're going out to perform?
And I was telling Greg, I was really having a hard time because her nose was running. And he's like, shut up. He's like, it was trying to be serious. I'm like, I was trying to be serious. I'm like, all right, I'm going to focus on something else because it's a very important message, right? So I'm like, whatever. So by the end, I was like, okay, this is very moving. And I got just a little emotional. I'm like, okay, I understand what you're doing. This is very moving. Stephanie, these queens were stunning. I'm like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. Because, you watch RuPaul's Drag Race or whatever, but when you see it in real life, the effort, the art,
Jamie,
the makeup. I mean, I just was like, I was stunned. I'm like, I had no idea.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea. So we enjoyed the brunch. Everything was great. And the end, they do this huge "This Is Me," and there's like confetti, and it's this, and I got emotional. I'm like, you know why, Stephanie? I am comfortable everywhere.
I am too.
I'm just comfortable. I'm fine. But there are people in this world who aren't. So I'm looking around, and I'm like, these people are free. They are comfortable, and I got emotional.
Well, I went to an LGBTQ luncheon a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the keynote speaker basically told her story, and she was raised in Texas.
Okay.
And she's probably our age. Mm-hmm. So she was raised in the 70s and 80s when it wasn't cool to be gay, and people were terrible. And then on top of it, she lived in Texas. So she told her whole story, and I was emotional throughout.
Oh yeah.
Just because it put it in such perspective for me of like how difficult it is.
It really hit home. So after that, Greg and Glenn had obviously had many mimosas.
Yeah. Were they staying the night too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So they were staying till Monday. So they're like, "What do y'all want to do?" And we're like, "I don't know. I mean, we want to stay on theme? What are we going to do?" I have no idea. And they're like, "You guys want to go to the Castro?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's go to the Castro." Never been to the Castro.
I don't think I have either.
And so, first of all, it's a beautiful part of town. It's pristine.
Maybe I have been there.
And they're like, "Well, we'll show you all of our old haunts." Because when they were younger, they went to the Castro all the time.
Yeah.
So we went to a couple of bars, and no one gives a shit about you. Like, they're just like living their best life. It's full of history.
Oh, cool.
It is just a beautiful, beautiful part of the city. Mm-hmm. This is unlike, and you know what I noticed? Because I told Daryl, I said, I'm not uncomfortable in a negative way. I'm uncomfortable because I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And
now you know how it is to be the outsider, huh?
And I said, and I kind of like it because now I know what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so like we
do.
went to this last bar we went to, it was called The Mix. And it was the most comfortable I was because it was a variety of people, and it literally hence the name, The Mix. And I was like, this is unbelievable. This is great. And I just loved it. And so then we had to leave to go get our stuff. Our room was ready. We went. We're like, well, let's just chill. We have dinner tonight, whatever, with them. And Glenn goes, Greg is tossed. We're not going to dinner. And I'm like, okay. Because they stayed. They stayed and partied.
Oh.
And so I'm like, that's fine. I was so exhausted.
Yeah.
I said, I can't survive this. I can't do this. Like, I just cannot do it. It's just too much alcohol. I just can't. It was amazing though. I mean, we had so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad.
And I was like, I've never been so glad to go home.
Did you and Daryl go to dinner?
We went to the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Just had a quick dinner. Yeah. But it was an amazing anniversary.
It sounds so much fun.
The city is so bustling.
The city itself, that's why when people tell me how much they hate the city, I'm like,
I
don't understand. I'm like, you know what, maybe it's just me and it suits my personality. I love it. Or ours, because Jerry and Jeff equally fit there.
Oh, it's so amazing.
But I think you really have to explore the parts of the city that you haven't seen or been to.
It is
and
so
stay there.
nice.
Like, not just go there for restaurants or whatever. Like, stay there.
Stay there.
Because we've done that. And we've stayed in obscure places where I'm like, I don't even know where this is. And like, but then we get there and we're like, it's like so amazing.
It is amazing.
And so I've gotten to know, I obviously haven't been to all of them because a lot of the places you've stayed at, I'm like, I've never been there.
But that's the thing.
But you can just keep going back. And we're so lucky that it's like an hour and a half away.
Oh God. I felt so bewildered in a good way. Like, I just was so like, oh my God. Like, you don't realize how lucky you are to be so close to an iconic city until you're in there going, people come from all over the world.
And it's weird because San Francisco is one of those cities where you can be in the epitome of luxury, but it's such a casual, relaxed vibe.
It is casual.
You don't feel like you're a snob, and like, it doesn't feel that way, even though you're staying somewhere that's really expensive.
And what I really loved is just how the city is so full of art and culture, and you just take it for granted unless you go and really focus. And you're right. We saw just, I mean, a hint of
a little
city.
teeny
we
little.
hardly saw anything.
You could go there 1,000 times and never see the same thing
You're
twice.
100% correct.
And then there's things that you see that you loved it so much, you could go back 5 times and you won't get sick of it.
I thought of you the whole weekend. The whole weekend I thought of you. Because I'm like, Stephanie would be having so much fun right now.
I literally, sometimes we've done nothing. People don't understand that. I'm like, you know what, we were so broke. We just went to the city this weekend. They're like, how do you? I'm like, because you can just walk around and like look at things and see things. And that is so fun. Yeah.
And every road you drive by, if you turn to your right or your left, you're going to see a photographic. Like you could literally put this on your wall.
Pretty,
it's so beautiful.
Yes.
Just a stunning weekend.
It's so pretty.
And we were very blessed with amazing weather.
Yeah. Right now, they are literally the only ones in the entire state that are having good weather. Everybody else is blistering.
Yeah, on our way home we hit Dick's and I'm like, oh well, it's 98.
I know, and it takes like 20 minutes to get to you know, it's like, that's the funny thing is you're in this little luxury and glorious bubble as is the city, and then within a blink you're like home.
Reality.
Yeah. There's like cows and
immediately.
It's hot as fuck. There's a Chipotle everywhere. Yeah, we are. This is a long episode.
Want to tell you my ugly and awkward moment that we can call it.
Okay.
I'll tell you the story about the dentist office next time, but this time, so our anniversary, Daryl's hard to shop for because he can buy whatever he wants.
Yeah.
And he has been buying whatever he wants lately because he should. He works so
there's
hard.
nothing wrong with that.
And the things that he's been buying himself, I couldn't buy him anyway because I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Right.
So, I mean, like he got new clubs and all that stuff. And so, you know,
that makes him happy.
And I'm so happy for him, you know?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm like, well, what am I going to get this man?
Works his fucking ass off.
So we...
and he pays for everyone's life but his own.
There's an artist in Hawaii that we really like. And so we saw him when...
It's not Wyland, is it?
No. Stephanie. No.
I said it as a joke.
But he's a really cool local artist. We saw some of his art when we were there a couple of years ago. I'm like, God, he's so great. So we both followed him on Instagram. Well, he now has a shop.
Oh.
So I bought a print of the area that we like to stay in. And so I needed to frame it. And so I went to Michael's because they have some frames. And so I can mat it myself and everything. So I bought the mat and then I'm looking at the frames. I'm like, oh, I really need a perfect one. And all of a sudden I'm standing there and I'm like, just minding my own business, shuffling through. And then they start to spill out.
Oh no.
I'm like, what did I do? And I'm like, God damn it. And of course my hands are full and I'm trying to manipulate everything. And all of a sudden I hear this, do you need some help? And I was like, maybe. And I'm like, is that coming from the speaker? Like, do they have a camera?
Was it?
No, but it was this woman on the other side of the framing place. And she's like, you need some help? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I think I got it. She's like, no. She comes over and she's like helping me. And I'm like, I'm sorry. They just started spilling out on me everywhere. And she's like, it's fine. I'm like, I didn't do it. I swear to God, it wasn't me. They don't care.
It's the way you stack them, bitch.
Or someone did.
Someone.
And I'm like, anyway, so...
Why shout from across the room? Why not walk closer and be like, can I help you, ma'am? Why? Know. Yeah.
Because I want to make sure everybody knows that you're screwing it up.
Because we're at Michael's and she makes less money than people at McDonald's do.
God. That Michael's too, like it's all self-check. Like there's no actual cashier. No, they have a cashier. They have someone who kind of meanders around in case there's someone who goes, I simply will not check out myself.
Well, they must not have the theft problem that everybody else has.
Oh, I think they absolutely have the theft problem because I'm like, I could literally just walk out of here paying 50 cents for this toothbrush and leave.
And nobody would stop
me. They wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't either.
There's cameras everywhere. I'm like, no.
But there are people who will take, shockingly, they're normal people will just be like, no one's going to say anything. I'm just going to fucking walk out. I would never.
And they won't. You're right. They will be like, well, there goes that.
It's always shocking to me, the people who are willing to steal.
I can't do it.
It's not always like deadbeats and losers and drug. It's like just regular people.
Well, you know what's funny is Mackenzie, when she was a kid, she used to steal everything. We'd put her in a stroller and we'd walk around and we'd go out of the store or whatever, and she's got like a stuffed animal in her lap. We're like, where did you get that? She's like looking at us because she's not verbal yet. She's like a 12-month-old or whatever, and she's just like, what?
I wanted it.
She did that for years.
Oh, God.
I mean, finally, we were at Monterey once and she stole like a crab.
And you were like, what the hell?
I'm like, why do you have a crab? And she's like, I like it or whatever. And I said, and Daryl's laughing, and I'm like, this has got to stop. Okay. She can't think that she can walk into a store and just take whatever she wants.
It's not cute anymore.
We have to return it. And he's like, all right. And I'm like, come on. No.
Right.
Handcuff this child. Anyway.
That's cute.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back soon with another show. Bye.